Now, it turns out that the average person is spending about 6 hours a day sitting down. Not only that, but amongst younger demographics such as Gen Z, that number is as much as 8 hours a day. Now, of course, this is going to wreak havoc with our ability to focus, but also it's going to wreak havoc with our physical health. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking all about the stand up versus sit down question. Should you work standing up? And if so, for how long? And how might you go about incorporating more standing into your workday? But before we get into that, if you like this show, as always, take a moment to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, do all that good stuff, and leave a comment below. Do you work standing up? Do you use a standing desk, a treadmill desk? I'd love to know. Sitting all day is damaging to our bodies in so many ways. It can increase insulin resistance, which puts us at risk of unhealthy weight gain, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. It's devastating to our muscles and cervical and lumbar spine mobility, and it can compromise our job satisfaction, our energy levels, and our emotional health. Now, if you're at risk of one or more of these, then you could do yourself a big service simply by Now, standing actually lowers our risk of weight gain, obesity, diabetes, heart disease. It reduces back pain, it improves our mood and energy levels, it boosts productivity, and ultimately helps us to live longer. In fact, one study published in BMJ found that if we keep our sitting time to below 3 hours, it could increase the average person's life expectancy by 2 years. So of course, standing desks have become incredibly popular over the past few years. Modern offices around the world are full of these mechanical desks where you simply push a button and it will elevate to a certain level so you can work standing up, push that button again and it will go back down so you can work sitting down. And this is exactly what we should be doing, alternating between standing up and sitting down when we are at work. Because it turns out that extended periods of standing up can also be quite devastating for our health. In fact, a 2017 study out of Australia's Curtin University found that study participants who had been working on computers at standing desks for 2 hours reported discomfort, muscle fatigue, and lower limb swelling. Meanwhile, prominent author Alex Hutchinson, author of Endure, Mind, Body, and the Curiously Elastic Limits of Human Performance, says that standing all day is twice as bad as sitting for your heart, which actually runs counter to the whole sitting is the new smoking narrative. So what on earth are we supposed to do then? Number 1, sit and stand. Rather than stand all day or sit all day, as I've indicated, we should alternate between periods of standing up and sitting down. Now, there are numerous standing desks available on the market, whether it be Mojo Desk or Stand Desk. I'll have some links to places where you can find them in the show notes, or whether it just be a makeshift standing desk you've created yourself with perhaps a couple of boxes or a number of books in place to elevate your monitor. Hopefully you're not using one of my books as an elevation tool, but hey, at least you're getting value out of it. In addition to standing up and sitting down, incorporating movement into your day is fundamental. So going for those short walks, which is something that I've covered in a previous episode. In fact, one study found that participants who sat for more than 7 hours a day and had less than 150 minutes of physical activity a week demonstrated reduced thoracic spine mobility. Number 2, walk more. Turns out that prolonged periods of sitting, augmented by short walks, actually improves our insulin sensitivity. And one study found that people who walk for just 2 minutes every hour have a 33% lower risk of premature death than their sedentary peers. Now, this is according to a 2015 study published in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology. So what if you live in a cold climate where getting out of the office for that walk perhaps isn't all that compelling to you? Perhaps it's snowing outside. Well, there are no excuses nowadays because you can invest in a treadmill desk. A lot of popular influencers, personalities, academics, entrepreneurs, authors, you name it, are now waxing enthusiastic about their treadmill desk and getting 10, 15, 20,000 steps in a day without even leaving their house. People like Ben Greenfield, people like Peter Diamandis, people like Gretchen Rubin, all swear by their treadmill desks. And if you're unsure where to find a treadmill desk, again, I'll have a link in the show notes for your convenience. Number 3, sit ergonomically. So while extended periods of sitting can wreak havoc on our thoracic spine mobility, our hip flexors and things of that persuasion, having an ergonomic chair will obviously serve to counter some of those effects. In fact, ergonomic chairs have been shown to reduce musculoskeletal symptoms among workers who are required to sit for prolonged periods. Now, this is according to a 2012 study on the effectiveness of chair intervention in the workplace to reduce musculoskeletal symptoms. And again, I'll have some links to some ergonomic chairs in the show notes for you. And then lucky last, number 4, stretch. Now, stretching keeps the muscles flexible, strong, and healthy, and we need that flexibility to maintain a range of motion in our joints. David Nolan, a physical therapist at Massachusetts General Hospital, says that the areas critical for mobility are in your lower extremities, your calves, your hamstrings, your hip flexors in the pelvis, and quadriceps in the front of the thigh. Consider joining a yoga or Pilates class, doing physical therapy, joining a mobility class at the gym, or simply checking out some stretching videos on YouTube, especially thoracic and lumbar spine and hip flexor stretches, and also always incorporate more bending and stretching into your day. Now, like most things in life, prevention is easier than cure. And if you're on this side of 30, incorporating more walks, more standing, more stretching into your life is going to be key to not only helping you be more productive at your desk, but to living a longer, healthier, and happier life. Until next time.